Hello guys, today we're going to start doing some variables on both sides. This is a very common skill that's used in math, so it is important that we learn this. Let's go ahead and jump right in. This is example number 1. Make sure you copy the notes and pause the video if you ever get behind, or replay whatever I say if you get confused. So we got negative 2x plus 5 equals 4x minus 1. Notice that the title says that there's going to be variables, in other words letters, our letter x and our negative 2x and our 4x. Those are variables on both sides. So again, we want to stay organized, so let's draw a line down the middle. And here, a lot of students get confused as to what the correct step is. It doesn't matter. Everybody chooses to do things differently. A strategy I like to use is to move everything to the to the left, because moving everything to the left makes it easier. So this 4x, I can combine it with this 2x, but be very careful. It's gonna jump over this line, so you have to make it the opposite. You have to make it the opposite. So if this is a 4x, to get rid of it, I need to make it minus 4x. That cancels out, and I can't do one thing to one side of the equation and not do it to the other. So I need to do it on this side, minus 4x, like that. And these are what we call like terms because they have the same variable. So a negative 2x and a negative 4x, we're subtracting. That's a negative 6x. And then just bring down the rest of the equation. Plus 5 equals, we got rid of the 4x by moving it to the other side, and then minus 1. Now, we don't want to move the 1 over here because then that leaves us with nothing on the right side. So now we need to get the x by itself. So we got to move the 5. Minus 5, minus 5, because I was adding 5, so I minus 5. That causes it to cancel out. So I'm left with negative 6x equals a negative 1 minus 5 is a negative 6. Again, if you have trouble adding positives and negatives, let us know and we can help you. And now we're back to just a simple one step. Again, we're trying to get the x by itself. So here it's being multiplied because they're right next to each other. So I'm going to divide. And I don't divide just by a 6. I divide by a negative 6. So it looks like this. And so our final answer is x equals a negative, and a negative is a positive. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So our answer is x equals 1 because this canceled out. And if I were to check my work, because we need to build the habit of checking our work, I would plug it back into the original statement. I would plug it back in to make sure that we are correct. So I'm going to plug in that x equals 1 and see if it works. So the equation was negative 2x plus 5 equals 4x minus 1. 4x minus 1. And so I'm going to plug in that 1 instead of the x. So I'm going to put negative 2 times 1. Instead of x, I'm plugging in 1. And I'm keeping everything else the same. 4, and instead of x, I'm plugging in 1 minus 1. Again, what am I doing? I'm checking my work to making sure that it is correct. So I'm going to see negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 5. And then 4 times 1 is just 4 minus 1. And if I were to simplify both sides, this gives me 3. And that also gives me 3. So therefore, my answer was correct. Again, that's what a good scholar would do just to make sure they were doing it correctly. So let's go ahead and try another example. This is our second one. Make sure you write it down. 3x plus 4 equals 6x minus 5. Again, I'm going to move everything to the right. And by everything, I mean move the variable. Maybe I'll write that down. Move. And when I move the variables to the right, I'm going to combine the like terms. So in this case, the 3x and the 6x. So it doesn't matter. You could do it either way. But I just like to keep it nice and simple, but just move it to the right. So minus 6x. And if I do it on one side, I gotta do it on the other. Minus 6x. Like that. And so we're left with negative 3x, because 3x minus 6 is 3x, plus 4 equals, that canceled out, minus 5. Don't forget that negative. So I have my variables together. Right here is where I combine them. And they're like terms, so I can add them together. Now I gotta move my numbers together, my constants. Minus 4, negative 3x equals negative 9. Again, be very careful adding your positives and your negatives. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. And so we're left with x equals positive 3, because a negative and a negative give me a positive. So x equals 3, like that. Again, guys, remember that you can do it a different way. If you were taught a different way, just as long as you get x equals 3, should be good. Alright, so go ahead and try this one. Pause the video, try this problem, try to solve it. Alright, so hopefully you try to solve this problem now and you pause the video. So let's go ahead and do it together. Bring this down. We got negative 4x minus 6 equals negative 2x plus 8. Again, we want to get our variables together, so I'm going to move that 2x over here. But to move it, I'm crossing this line, so I got to change the sign. So this is a negative 2x, so I got to make it plus 2x. Don't forget to change the sign if you cross it over the line. If you cross it over the balance, you could think of it that way. So we're left with a negative 4x and a 2x is going to give me a negative 2x. Bring down the minus 6. Carry the equal sign, and you're left with 8 on this side. Alright? And now we're back to this 2-step. I want to get the x by itself, so I got to start furthest, which is the 6, like that. And the 6's cancel out. I'm left with negative 2x equals 14. And then solve. Finish solving. Divide by negative 2 because that's multiplying. Divide. X equals negative 7. And again, you can check your work to make sure that it is correct. So let me check my work on this one since I didn't check my work on the last one. So I have negative 4x minus 6 equals negative 2x plus 8. And instead of x, I'm going to plug in that negative 7. So let me write it this way. I'm putting parentheses because the parentheses kind of tell you that there's something that has to go there, and it's multiplication because they're right next to each other. So in there, I'm going to plug in my negative 7 because that's where my x was. I'm plugging it in there like that. I'm replacing it or substituting it. So let's go ahead and simplify the expression and see if it's true, because we're saying these two sides are equal. A negative times a negative is a positive. So negative 4 times negative 7 is going to be a positive 28 minus 6. Carry down the equal sign. Again, we're wondering, is it equal? On the other side, we got a negative 2 times a negative 7. It's going to give me a positive 14 plus 8. And so let's simplify it one more time. 28 minus 6 is 22. 14 plus 8 is 22. Indeed, we got that both sides were the same, so x equals negative 7 did work. Alright guys, thank you for joining me on this video. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or confusions. Have a great day. Bye.